What's up, traders? It's your boy Vincent, aka Vin Boss, and today we are going to analyze the daily analysis. And remember, the daily analysis is not as long as the deep dive or as the weekly Forex forecast, so we are going to shorten things up. So, for those of you who are new here, please make sure you like, you subscribe, you watch the analysis, and you get the knowledge because every single time you get to learn something from these videos. So without wasting much of our time, traders, let's get into this. Remember, we were looking for buying opportunities from this. We were already in a buying opportunity from here. And as soon as this came up, we thought that the bounce was going to come out from here to break out structure and continue to the upside to reach our 1:20 risk to reward ratio. But from these levels, we did reach here. We did put break even from here. After the bounce, we did protect our capital, and it was more or less, let me check first. It was 1:8. Yes, it was 1:8 on my diary. It says it's 1:8 DXY. So, with that being said, now what does this mean? Does this mean we are now going to sell because we have a strong momentum to the downside? No, that's not exactly what we are after. But as we can see, evident enough is that we are on the monthly liquidity, and the 14-day and the wave liquidity has been invalidated, but we are on the monthly liquidity. And the monthly liquidity, not only do we retest the monthly liquidity, but we also retest the last 200 moving average, which also acts as support. So even if you can check the reaction after we have reached this, we have bounced straight to the upside. Now I'm only looking for buying opportunities to the upside to break out this. Now, why do I say this? Was this anticipated or not? Let's go and see what I said on the video of the deep dive which I covered from last week. This wave liquidity and the 14-day liquidity are close to each other. With that being said, this means that the wave liquidity is 99.65 and the 14-day liquidity is 99.59. So they are very close to each other, making this a strong level to look for buying opportunities before we continue to the upside. I will not be looking for selling opportunities, as the only time I would be looking for selling opportunities is if we break this monthly change of structure, and the continuation to the downside will be expected as so. So with that being said, this is my expectations of the DXY, and with the DXY we are now expecting to see this bounce from here go to the upside. This is the 14-day liquidity and the wave liquidity. But if we do manage to get through this does not hold. If we do manage to get through this is the monthly liquidity. This is where we will be setting up our buying setups again to look for buying or bullish patterns and formations from these levels and hope to get to the upside. Now traders, you see, this was anticipated from last week that we might not only hold from here, but we might go below and start to look for buying opportunities as soon as we go to retest the monthly liquidity, as it is stronger than both the 14-day liquidity and the wave liquidity. And with that being said, this is exactly what happened. What I would like to see is the continuation to the upside. Now, this also was the trading signal that was uploaded on the real account traders community from the analysis that we just talked about. So this shows that we do have the first option here and the second option, but either way we are still pointed to the upside. So this is the DXY. I'm expecting more buying opportunities, not selling opportunities. The only time I'll be looking for selling opportunities is if we break the monthly break of structure. So with that being said, thanks for watching, traders. Let's go over to the euro and the dollar. And traders, with the euro and the dollar, simple. but direct. What we had was we did have a beautiful buy sell signal here. Here we didn't move the price to the stop loss from here, even though it was expected because we were hopeful. We did have a break even, of course, and the market went straight to the upside. Traders are still buying this, hoping this is one of those buying opportunities where everything has just changed to the upside and we just go. I don't think this is going to happen. I think this is a trap. This is a bull trap. What very much would happen is to the downside, because even if you let's pay close attention to this and zoom in a little bit, you can see that we have, this is the upside, small pullback, upside, change of structure, upside to retest the broken uh, support, which will turn resistance, and then continuation to the downside, which this happens right at the monthly liquidity, not at the 14-day liquidity, as it was invalidated together with the wave liquidity. But right now we are now looking for selling opportunities to the downside. Anybody looking for the buying opportunities? I'm not looking for that. You can go for that if you see the buys are more valid than uh the sellers. So in this scenario, my strategy does not, invalidate the monthly liquidity. We can only invalidate the monthly liquidity when price has already invalidated the monthly liquidity. So without that, we are not interested in selling the dollar. As long as the dollar is still on the positive side, and it is on the positive side, we are not looking for any selling opportunities despite the previous movement to the downside in the dollar, which results in multiple currency pairs looking like they are about to overthrow the dollar. But overall direction, we are still biased to the upside on the dollar, which means that on this pair we are going to the downside. And before we get to the video, this was the signal that was, of course, given in the real account traders community after the deep dive video, to make sure that everybody else understands that not only not only do we focus on the wave liquidity and the 14-day liquidity, but also the monthly liquidity right here. And you can see that this is a clear stop loss hunt, or you know clearing the sales before we can continue with the new fresh wave of sales. So with that being said, this is exactly to be expected going to the end of the week, and up until next week we are going to go to the downside. This is exactly what I would definitely want to see. So let's check what I said on the video of the euro and the dollar with this signal. Now with that being said, we have to go back to the fact that if this does not hold, if these two, both wave liquidity and the 14-day liquidity, do not hold, we would have to get to this level right here, which is the monthly liquidity. And the monthly liquidity, it is priced in at 1.1660. If we get to this level, great opportunity still aligns to go to the downside. So now that is what was said. I'm not playing the whole video. If you want to see the video, go on YouTube, go and check on the video of the deep dive analysis, and you will understand what we were talking about then, and you can match that with what is currently happening right now in the market. So with that being said, traders, we are now looking for selling opportunities, of course, and those selling opportunities, as I've mentioned, this looks like this: a change of structure and continuation to the downside. So if you are going to miss out on the sales, I feel very sorry for you. But if also, you must also feel sorry for me if I am missing out on this buying opportunity. Then and only then I would be saying maybe I made a mistake, but it will not be a mistake, it would be a learning curve. Why do I call this a learning curve? because I would have missed out on chances of losing from here or even from here. Only thing that I am looking for is selling opportunities, and we have already had break even here. We are trying to get into this one again to find better opportunities. So with that being said, let's move over to the pound and the dollar. And with the pound, then the dollar, what we do very have much is what we call a careful structure. Why do we call this a careful structure, and why we can still pursue this to the downside? Why? Number one, we did have a perfect sell from here to the downside. We made as much as 1:9 here, from here to here, and then after this trail stop was hit and gave us small wins of 1:9, we got up to reach this monthly break of structure, which in tail or under normal circumstances, it will mean that this might be the case. So with that being said, since I'm not interested in selling the dollar, I do want to do one thing. I would like to zoom out, of course, to find out what is causing or what could be the cause of this. So if you zoom out, of course, you can see that um, this might also continue to the downside, as this is a long wave from February. March was not much of a movement, and now we into April. We might as well do this. Now let me even show you, if this is not clear enough, let me show you with the Fibonacci retracement. Yes, I do have it right now. Let me just put it closer here. With the Fibonacci retracement from here to here, this is only 38.2 pullback retracement from the bottom. As you can see, from here to here, this is 38.2% pullback retracement, and we are going to the downside. So if you would like to play it safe, because there's going to be a lot of nuances into this, what I would like for you to do is stay out. But if you are brave like me, I am going to try to get into this to the downside to take out this level right here and make sure that we make that 1:20 risk to reward ratio. So with that being said, this is the pound. Before going anywhere else, let me remind you that it is very simple for you to join the real account traders community. All you have to do is fund $100. That's the smallest amount you can find, but if you are really interested in making money, you can find a little bit more, like $500 and even more. So all you have to do is register your account under the exclusive excellence link, which will be left under the video restriction, the video description, and then verify your account details, fund the minimum of $100 and more, and then send proof of registration and funded account to me, admin and Vinboss Signal Factory Telegram channel. And the link to the Telegram channel also will be left under the video description. So as I've already explained, that this would be difficult for most traders to try to catch the move to the downside, because it might already just keep on going to the downside. So with that being said, traders, this is the pound and the dollar. Let's go straight over to the US dollar and the Japanese yen to see what it has in store for us. Traders, with the US dollar and the Japanese yen, very simply put, what we do have is we did have a beautiful buy to the upside, put break even right below here because we have made a new high. Remember, let me zoom in to make sure that I show you how to pay close attention to the markets. Now, this is what I was talking about. We were on an upside, came back, new high, came back, made a higher low, and then made a new high. So obviously, this means that continuation is more imminent. And then as soon as we did have that, we put break even here. It was 1:12 from small levels that we did take here. It was 1:12 and boom to the downside. And then after that, as soon as we had this reaction on the wave liquidity, buying opportunities started coming in. And on the real account traders community, we are already into this. This is the most beautiful setup that we have on the group. So with that being said, beautiful traders, let's go and see what I was anticipating on. Let's see what I was anticipating on this market. The beautiful traders, what we do have right now is I do expect to see this uh wave liquidity, excuse me. I do expect to see this wave liquidity bounce, or this monthly liquidity bounce here. The monthly liquidity is 157.96 and the wave liquidity is 158.26. Both these levels are fantastic for buying setups to go into the upside. Now this both these levels are treated well with respect, because we did have what the first level here, which was the wave liquidity to the upside, made 1:12, which is small because usually we go for 1:20, and we are now already in because we did test only the wave liquidity, and now we are back to testing the wave liquidity, and then we are going deeper into this, buying the US dollar and the Japanese yen. So, with that being said, beautiful traders, what does this mean? This simply means that we are on the monthly liquidity on the DXY. We are on the monthly liquidity on the euro dollar. We are on the monthly liquidity on the pound. Oh, no, no, not the pound. Rather, on the pound, we already reached this level of change of structure, but we are on the wave liquidity on the longer time frame. If you go to the monthly time frame and you check the pound and the liquidities in there, which already are covered on the deep dive analysis. So you must go back to the deep dive analysis to go and see. But rather, again, here on the US dollar and the Japanese yen, we did have a beautiful bounce on that signal also. So with that being said, let's go straight to the US dollar and the Canadian dollar to see what it has in store for us. Remember, traders, with the US dollar and the Canadian dollar, I did mention that I would not trade this pair unless it breaks above here, which it didn't, and then comes back to retest and then look for buying opportunities. That was the setup. And or if it comes down and retest this wave liquidity, which it has partially, so speaking, but if it wasn't going to, it was just gonna play around here, I was not interested in that. Why did I not waste much of my time on this US dollar Canadian dollar before? Because it did not reach the wave liquidity, nor the 14-day liquidity, nor my wave liquidity, nor even my monthly liquidity. So if it does not reach my criteria of buying or entering any setup, I do not want to entertain it, as it might be risky asset for my strategy. So with that being said, I waited a long time for this to come, and after, even last week we didn't even touch this. So this week we did come here, started making highs, retest, and it looks like we are going to the upside. We are already in a small buy here. We will see what the market does. Very simply put, if we do have another pullback to retest the 14-day liquidity, I would gladly take it to the upside. So with that being said, traders, let's see what I was looking for on this video. Not unless the only time, okay, let me just show you the only time that I will be trading the US dollar and the Canadian dollar. It is if we do break above this last month high and then come back to retest it to look for buying opportunities to the upside. Then I would try, because this would be one opportunity again to the upside. But up until then, if it doesn't break this, it just comes down and keeps on doing this without reaching this level of the 14-day liquidity, or even the wave liquidity, or the monthly liquidity. I will not be interested in this one. I would let it play out. Then I will catch it maybe in the next 14 days or next month. It doesn't matter. What matters is I'm not choosing this, which is why it is important to join the real account traders community, because in the real account traders community you can trade. Sorry for cutting that, but of course, I did not take any movement up until we got to the bottom of this signal right here and went to the upside. This is exactly what I want to see. I don't want to see anything like I didn't want to see anything like this and then go up without even coming closer. You see here, this is 1 pip away from our 14-day liquidity. For me, this is bearish enough, because as you can see, the Canadian dollar has been underperforming from last month, and it was not nice for the US dollar, Canadian dollar against the majority of the pairs. So for now, we are solely basing this analysis structure on the strength of the US dollar and the Canadian dollar. So for you to get the rest of the currency pair signals, please make sure that you join the real account traders community, and you will get all trading signals of currency pairs and of gold and silver, even Bitcoin if it is in your portfolio. So with that being said, let's say bye bye. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Vinboss Signal Factory, and make sure you join us on Telegram to keep you updated and motivated with trading. For me, I'm done for today. This analysis, just follow up the analysis and make sure you catch up real quick. Bye bye.